Hi everyone, welcome to our Thursday live stream. Today we're going to explore a way to make molds, right? Using our silicone molds, we're going to explore a non-toxic epoxy alternative, and I'm so excited to show you. Let me know in the chat. I see a lot of you are saying hello. I'm so glad you're here. And you're telling me where you're from. It's like we've done this before. Crystal is here from Shorewood, Illinois. Ooh, I'm in Illinois. Exciting. Carolyn, hello. Zanetta and Natalie. Oh, it's so good to see you, Natalie and Leanne and Quita's here and Terry. Oh my gosh. Hello, 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 hello. I did have a feeling tonight would be popular. So, I first want to explain what products I'm using, and now that I think of it, I need 1 second. Everything's over here. Well, not everything. Just a couple of the molds I need. Okay, so Christy, Jessica, Lisa, Mona, oh my gosh. Carolyn, my birthday was pretty good, pretty low-key. Just had my parents over and my sister and my nephews, and we just had some dinner, and, you know, happy to be 32, and also not that exciting. Oh my gosh, there's so many of you here. This is so great. Okay, so for those of you watching live, I'm super glad you're here. If you are here on the replay, I want to explain a few things to you guys before we get started. I am a Crystalac tumbler maker crafter, okay? I no longer use epoxy resin or UV resin in my crafting endeavors because it is just very toxic, and I don't have the space, the ventilation, the ability to be away from my family to use that anymore. So I am 100% epoxy free. So one of the downsides of using Crystalac is that you cannot use it in a deep pouring mold, okay? It has to be put on in thin coats, so you can't pour your Crystalac Bright Tone or any of the Crystalac products in something like this. And if any of you are like me, I had molds and then I just couldn't use them. So I have been searching for an alternative to use in these molds, and I found something. I will still be using Crystalac products for some of this, and I will explain that in a little bit. But the product that I'm using is called Aqua Resin. And it is completely non-toxic. You can go to their website, read all about it, and it is a liquid and a powder. Okay, we've got two parts. We've got the L liquid, and I'm using the S3 powder. I have these linked in the description of this video, just to their website. They have all of this there. They also have distributors, so you could look if there's any distributors like close to you or whatever. Maybe that would do local pickup. I don't know. You can check it out. So this itself is non-toxic, which is amazing, and it is strong. So this is a coaster I made, and like I cannot. I've tried to break it. Like I've done short of dropping it on the concrete. So it's really strong, and this has nothing on it. Like, this is just the material. I didn't put any sealer on it or anything like that. So for this blue one, okay, let's back up. So the product is Aqua Resin, and I've made several coasters. It is still relatively new to me, but I'm working on it, and I plan to record some more tutorials just with specific molds, and I bought some new ones, like I'm super excited about them. So just know that everything I go over today, this live will live on YouTube, as well as some future pre-recorded videos will come out over the next couple of weeks. So you need your Aqua Resin, the L Liquid, and the S3. On their website, they have a beginner kit, but I honestly would skip that, and I'll tell you why. That's what I bought, and they give you a little bit of liquid, a little bit of powder, which is nice, but it comes with other stuff. It comes with like other things we don't need. I can't think of the fiberglass. It comes with like fiberglass to make these like stronger. So I don't feel like that needs it, but with more experimentation, I suppose I might change my mind. But for now, I ended up just purchasing that. I went through that pretty quickly, so then I got like the next size up of the powder and the liquid, which is honestly where I would just start if you're looking into trying this. And it's relatively easy to use. You'll need your molds, okay? I mean, any molds will work. This is like a jewelry tray that we will demold in a little bit. And then I've just got some coasters. It is really, really strong. I haven't tested it on something like a keychain or anything like that. I don't know if it's that strong, but honestly, I feel like it's stronger than an acrylic blank. So I don't know, like it might work. I don't have any keychain molds, I don't think, any right now, but maybe I will buy some and test it out. So it will be something to experiment with if that's what you're interested in. How can we be sure it's actually non-toxic? I mean, the SDS sheet on their website is very clear that there are no toxic ingredients. The fiberglass, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna use fiberglass, you should probably wear a mask and be careful while handling it. I'm not using the fiberglass, but the liquid and the powder are non-toxic. So you can read all of that information on their website, but it's definitely they don't have any hazardous ingredients in their stuff. So you need molds, and then the other thing I'm using is just like a food scale. I use this like for shipping and whatever. So any cheap, they're like $10. You can get them on Amazon. I have the molds. I've got the Aqua Resin, which is the brand Aqua Resin, and I've got a food scale on my or in the description of the video. Okay, so anything that I'm using tonight is in there. Okay, does it have a strong smell? No, it does not smell at all. Like if any of you have used like plaster of Paris or like anything like that, that's what it reminds me of. It does not smell at all. And then so the material is pretty matte. Now alone, I think that you can just leave it. Like if you were going to use, not for a coaster, let me back up. If you were going to use this like for a jewelry tray, like this one, I don't think you need any top coat on top of it. However, if you're going to use this as a coaster, I tested it. This is a water spot from a glass of ice water. So it, definitely like it got some water spots here too. So definitely need to seal it. I put some bright tone on this one right here so you can see it's a lot shinier, right, than this one. It's definitely like a matte finish. It's very soft, like very like silky smooth. But I put a few coats of bright tone on this one, and then I tested some water cups and like ice water, and there's no watermark, and obviously the bright tone held up perfectly. So if you're going to use it as a coaster, I recommend a few coats of bright tone, or extreme protection is fine too. I just use bright tone over the top. But I don't think that if you're going to use it like as a jewelry tray or something that's not going to be exposed to water, I don't think you need to seal it. But again, it's something to test. Unless that the if you're 100% sure it's not going to get exposed to any water, I wouldn't put a sealer on it. But if you are not sure, you might as well just put a few coats of Bright Tone. You could even put on the matte Bright Tone if you wanted to keep it a matte finish. The heat resistance, I don't know off the top of my head, but I can look it up. I will be putting together a blog post on this, so I'll make sure to include that. The heat resistance, but I remember it being like enough for a coaster. I don't have the exact number in my head though. Sorry, I forgot. Can you use this on tumblers? I just wouldn't, I don't think that there's any reason to use this on a tumbler. Would you still want it to cure for the 30 days with Bright Tone since it's getting contact with water? I don't wait 30 days for my coasters, but you certainly can. I just wait like the 5 days. Okay. So do you guys have any other questions? This is a random one that I used, like the gold flakes that I have just like from Amazon that I've used on my tumblers. I put them in the mold and then I poured it on there and then it attached to it. So that's kind of cool. For another effect, I did 2 different colors. And I tried to swirl it, but you know. So one of the main things is that this is the color of it. This color right here, this top color, is with no additional color. It's like a creamy beige. It's actually really pretty as is. For these 4 right here, for the blue, the gray, the purple, and the pink, I used the Crystalac Pigments. So like the pigments that we use to tint whatever, I used these for these 4 coasters. I will say I had a little bit of like a separation with like the only on like this one and a little bit on this gray one with the Crystalac Pigments, but I think that was me not mixing it enough. But they have their own colorants. So for most of them, I've been using the Crystalac Pigments because I already had it and I'm like not trying to buy a million things. You know what I mean? Like I spend enough money doing all of this, right? So, but this one, I used their color. So then I bought like this little color tester kit and I feel like this will last forever. And I used a little bit of this blue, like the tiniest little bit of this blue, and it is very, very vibrant. So I mean, because I already have them, I might use them, but the pigments work well too. So if you don't want to buy it, I don't remember how much these cost. I want to say like maybe $15. So, and I honestly used like the tiniest little drop, so I feel like it will last forever. Yes, it is kind of like a molding clay. That's kind of what it is. I don't know exactly. It's composite something or other. I don't know. Okay, so do we have any questions before we get into how to actually use it? It is a pretty quick process, and you can demold it like after like an hour, anywhere between like 1 hour and 24 hours. So I'll demold this one when we are done. You can sand down after you demold it if you have any rough spots. And then, like I said before, for coasters, I for sure will put Bright Tone on there. You will get water spots. It's not pretty. So you want to seal it up. But if you know something is not going to be in contact with water, it is very strong as is. But you can always just be safe. Because if somebody has like a jewelry tray, but it's next, like in their bathroom, you still probably would want it to be sealed. So there's that. Linda wonders if micas would work. Yeah, I haven't tried them. It could be interesting. We could try it. We'll see. Maybe I'll test it off of the off of camera and post it on Instagram. The cure time, Maria, the cure time, I wish I had the paperwork with me, but it is about 48 hours till it's fully hard, I believe. It's like 48 hours. But, so I waited 48 hours before I put the Bright Tone on top, and then I just did a few coats of Bright Tone. Let me see. Becky, my migraine is gone. I feel so much better this evening. Even this morning, I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it, but I do feel better now. Thank you for asking. And Julia, thank you so much. Aster Lane Creation says, I thought Bright Tone couldn't be exposed to sitting water. Is that not true? It's not really true. It's totally fine on coasters. I've personally soaked cups to test and nothing has ever happened to them. Obviously you can try to avoid it, but it's totally fine for a coaster. I had this one sitting under a glass of ice water, like all ice in a glass cup, so it would sweat for like an hour and nothing happened to it. So let's talk about how to actually use it. So there is some math involved. Okay, there is some math involved. Linda, you can demold it after an hour. So like at least about an hour to like 24 hours is when they say to demold. Most of mine I demolded at about that 1 to 2 hour mark. Okay, so there is, unless you're using the exact same mold that I am, it's gonna be a little bit different. So all of my tests, this one's a little dirty, but whatever. All of my tests I have been doing, like I've been testing, I've been keeping notes of like how much I'm using, what ratios, and all of that. So there is a little bit of math involved, but lucky for you, I'm a math teacher, so I'm going to try to simplify this for you. Okay, so, yes, Charity, exactly. So, I basically just started testing out and figured out that this mold right here is a coaster mold and does well with about like 175 grams of mixed together liquid. Okay, so I figured that out, but I would just mix up more. Like this one I did earlier, like 2 hours ago, just so I could demold it, and I did about 225 grams, and it wasn't quite enough, but like close enough. So I'm still, when you first start with a new mold, you kind of just first have to figure out how much you're going to fill it with. Okay, so for this one, I am going to fill it with about, let's see, I think this is the last one I did. I did 27 grams of the liquid and 104 grams of the powder. So I did like 130 grams total. So let's go with that, 130 grams total. And I'm using a gram scale, so like when I do this, it measures in grams. Now the directions, it comes with pretty good directions, not necessarily for this process, but for molding and casting in general. So they recommend 1 part of liquid to anywhere from 2 to 4 parts of the powder. I have been finding that for me, a 1 to 3 ratio is working pretty well. I've tried it more, I've tried it less. I've tried sort of letting it sit before putting it in my mold. Like I've done a lot of things, but I have found that a 1 to 3 ratio, so 1 part liquid to 3 parts powder, is what's been working for me. And that's probably what I'll continue to do, but your environment could make this different, right? So you'll have to do some tests of your own. Okay, so I am using Aqua Resin. Aqua Resin is the brand. It is a non-toxic composite molding and casting product, and I'm using the L liquid and the S3. So, and I am using a coaster mold. Except for I'm not going to use this circle one because it's full of glitter. I'm going to try the hexagon one. So I'm going to mix up about, I'm assuming it's about the same size. Still kind of dirty. Glitter everywhere. Take some transfer tape and clean that out. Okay, so I'm going to mix up, what did I say? I'm going to go with 140 grams. Okay, so let me write that down. I'm going to go, this is my hexagon. And I don't know if you can see this, and I'm going to go 140 grams total. Okay, so if I have 1 part of liquid, right, 1 part liquid and 3 parts of powder, that makes 4 parts total, right? So I can divide that into 4 pieces. One of those pieces is going to be liquid, and 3 of those pieces are going to be powder. You know what I mean? So I am going to take out my calculator because I don't do well under pressure with math. This is not my, I mean, I am a math teacher, but okay, so 140 grams total divided by 4 is 35. So that means I'm going to use 35 grams of the liquid. Okay? Does that make sense? Everybody following? Okay, because we're dividing it into 4 parts. Okay, and then 3 parts need to be the powder. So 35, right? 1 part is 35. So 35 times 3, right there, equals 105. So that's going to be 105 grams of the powder. Okay, this is for a 1-to-3 ratio. Okay, right here. And I'm honestly making up this 140 because I've never used this hexagon mold before. So this you might need to change, you know, depending on what your mold is. Okay, so then I divided that by 4 to get 35 grams of liquid. Okay, because then if you do 105 plus 35, you're at 140 total. Okay, let me know in the chat if that makes sense. I can do another math lesson another time if we need. Okay, so let me get this out of the way while you guys let me know if you're following. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to turn on my scale. It's already in grams. I'm going to put this little cup on there and I'm going to zero it out, or tare, or whatever fancy people call it. So it's 0 with my cup on there. And I need 35 grams of liquid. Okay, so, okay, great. I've been out of the classroom a little while, so I'm glad. Ooh, I'm spilling. I'm just going to fill this up to 35. And you know what? I have also found that it's like, if you're off by like a gram or 2, it's not a big deal. Okay. Linda, yes, right? You're like, of course, they're probably screaming and need your attention right in this moment. Okay, so, hey, got lucky, 35 grams. Okay, but if it's like off a little bit, like don't stress out. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? Like if you accidentally poured in 36 grams, like just use it. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? So then, sorry, I want to open, I like to have the stream open on my phone to make sure that it is working. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up real fast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in the pigments into this liquid. Okay, so let's, except for, I want to use a different color. Hold on. I am going to try some green. Okay. And I'm going to use the crystal-like pigments for this, but again, you could use the Aqua Resin. The company who makes this makes colors as well. But this one, these do have some sort of chemical in it that I would, and it has right on the label, it gives you the website for the SDS sheet, so they're very open about what's in there. So just look at it and make the best decision for yourself. Okay, so if any of you guys, so I got on this whole path of finding this because on TikTok I saw somebody using Jesmonite. Okay, this is a very, very similar product, but Jesmonite is not available in the United States. So that got me on this whole quest of finding something that I could use, because I was like, I want to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to use like 2 drops of the green, and I'm going to put one of the white in there. Only because I read somewhere that that's what people do, so I'm just doing it. And then I'm going to mix this up. Okay, and I'm going to mix this up first. Okay, Andrea, hello. If you are just hopping on, I am mixing up. I'm using Aqua Resin. Aqua Resin, there's a liquid and a powder. We're doing a 1-to-3 ratio. I went through all the math already, so to figure that out. So you guys, if you missed it, you can check the replay, or if you're on the replay, you can always rewind and watch it again. Okay, so that is there. And now I'm going to do 105 grams of the powder. Connie, yes, I know. I've like missed doing math, so this is like really fun for me. You gotta keep my skills sharp, you know? Okay, let me see. Wait, I missed a couple questions. Azanetta says, I wonder if it would work with alcohol inks. I think that I could absolutely try it.
Washing machine is done.
Sorry, my phone told me something. I could try it. I don't know. And Natalie, I asked if we can use mica powder. I also don't know that yet. I have only tried the crystal-like pigments and the colors that it came with, but I'm super happy to test with micas and alcohol inks. I can do it tomorrow. I will say that while this is non-toxic, it might be a good idea to wear a mask while you're dealing with the powder. You know, just so you don't breathe it all in, but here I am just going with it. Okay, I did way too much. I'm at 145, and I only need 105, so we're going to pour some out. 129, almost there. Okay, 107, which is good. Probably good enough, but I'll just take out a little bit more. 105, see? All good. See, it's kind of like, probably shouldn't be breathing it in. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, I can test with the alcohol inks. I'll do it tomorrow. I have a few alcohol ink projects I want to work on, so that'll be good. Okay, so then I'm just going to give this one more little stir, make sure it's as combined as it can be. And then I'm just going to pour it into this powder. And then I'm going to mix it. So I'm just using a popsicle stick. I think there are some other ways that I haven't tried yet that could work. I have been meaning to go to the Dollar Tree and get like a whisk that I could use. I think that would help. Or if you have like an immersion blender, like a handheld immersion blender, or I think they sell attachments for like a drill. Those all might work. I've just done such small batches that I've just been doing it by hand. But it does take a couple minutes to really get it all combined, because you don't want any lumps in your mixture, because if you have lumps, then it comes out looking like this, and it doesn't actually look that bad, but it's not supposed to look like that. So just mix it up real well. Okay, so Christine, water and oil does not mix, so we don't think alcohol inks are gonna work, but I'm happy to test it anyway. Lorraine is here, wants to know what we're using. Welcome. I am using Aqua Resin. Aqua Resin, the L liquid, and the S3 powder, and I have tinted it with the Crystal Pigments, the colorants, but they also sell their own colors. We were just talking about how maybe we could try mica powder. I think it might be like pretty like faint coloring, but if you wanted just like a little bit of color, it could work. You might have to use, I'm sure it wouldn't make such a big deal, but if you had to use, you don't want to use too much of whatever color you're using, because you don't want it to like mess with the curing process. Liquid Sculpey. Okay, so I don't think it's that hard when it dries. And it is like insanely expensive, Judy. So you could try it, but as far as I have been informed, I've never actually used it, is that it is not that strong. So yeah, Azanetta says it works too, but don't get as much. It has to be baked. As you have to bake it, and I just feel like it is super expensive for like a small little bit, but I could be wrong. Not that this is like super cheap, but like it's not, that seems like way more expensive, like per mold. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of look in here and see how it's doing. I'm going to stir it for another minute. Okay, do you guys have any other questions? It's pretty easy. I'm going to pour it in the mold, and I'm going to show you what I do, and then we will demold a different one that I made a couple hours ago. I have not tried to add glitter inside, and I don't know that I will, because it doesn't dry clear, but you could sprinkle it on the mold. Like I sprinkled these gold flakes on the mold, then I poured it in, and then when I demolded it, it came out like this. So that is an option. This is Aqua Resin. This is Aqua Resin. Okay, so this is all mixed up. I am going to grab just something to put this on. It does not dry clear. It dries like this is, okay, this has nothing in it. This side right here is how it dries. It's like a grayish beige, very pretty color, but it is not clear in the least bit. So it's not transparent at all. Okay, so another thing I had tried when I was first doing a few was waiting. I waited a little bit because this will thicken up. And then I poured it in, but I found that it was harder to get rid of some of the bubbles. So I don't think waiting is the best idea. So, but what I do find is helpful is, hold on, we got a fuzz. We got a fuzz. Is pouring in a little bit, just pouring in a little, and then getting it all spread out. And then you gotta do something about these bubbles. Here, wait, hold on. I'm going to zoom in so you can see better. Okay, so you can see all those little bubbles? So then what you're gonna do is like tap it down on the table. Christine can ask, can it be painted? Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Do you think it will work with detailed molds with etching? I'm not sure, Natalie. That is a good question. We can explore that though. Okay, so basically you want the bubbles to come up to the surface. So you're like literally, can you hear this? Oh, my mic is kind of far away. Can you like hear me slamming it on the ground or on the table? It's not really slamming it. I'm just like picking it up an inch and then dropping it. And then I'm going to blow with my mouth. Or even a straw. To that. It kind of reminds me of like plaster of Paris, but it is stronger than that. So that's why I think it works. The liquid mica would look like in it instead of a powder mica, even on it with the bright tone. Yeah, I think that is another thing I should explore as well. Okay, so once I do that and get enough of the bubbles off the bottom, I'm going to just fill this up with what I've got. Okay, and my estimate was pretty good. Okay, and there's another thing that, okay, so then now it's like too full to lift it up. So it's kind of like too full. So you can just like tap the sides to get the bubbles. Okay, I'm gonna have to write this down. This hexagon mold, how much did I make? 140 grams. That was perfect. I didn't know what I was getting into. So I'm just gonna tap the sides. And then you can blow to pop some of the bubbles. Okay. Jamie, more like lightweight concrete than clay. Honestly, yeah, like you could probably do this with like concrete, but it seems like a little scary to have concrete like in my house. Okay, so then I will say in some of them I have had a little separation, but I had that when I used their colors too. So like, I don't know. I think maybe I just need to mix it a little bit better, but then you're going to let this sit, okay? Once you get it in the mold, you're going to let it sit for at least an hour to about 24 hours. You could wait overnight if you wanted to demold. Okay? I have this one that I made 2 hours ago. Okay, I made it at about 5, well, almost 3. Okay, I made it at 5 o'clock. When I was like, oh shoot, I want to demold one. So this one separated quite a bit, but I was rushing, so I don't think that I did a good job mixing it all together. So, have you tried 3D molds like straw toppers? I have not, but there's no reason why it wouldn't work. I would probably put some bright tone on there just because the proximity to a drink. But okay, so what I do is I just kind of peel away the sides. And then you can just peel away the top. And you can see I did not mix this one really well, but it actually kind of looks cool. So I didn't mix this one very well, and it's a little splotchy. Like it's separated a little bit. But my other ones didn't do that. Like this one, oops. This one didn't do that. I just I was in a hurry, but I kind of think it looks kind of cool. Okay, so then I don't have it with me, but you can sand down like the edges if you need to. It's better to do that earlier than later, but you can sand out any imperfections, but it is very soft, like very soft. And then this is a jewelry tray. So you can kind of decide for something like this if you wanted to, what was I saying? Oh, if you wanted to seal it. I think jewelry trays are a little tough, like, because there is a chance that they end up in a bathroom. So, and if it even gets like water droplets on there, it will have water drops. Like these 2 drops right there are water stains. This one was not sealed. So just something to remember. And then you can paint it. You can paint it. So, you could do anything. I mean, you could do bright tone, you could do glitter, you could do whatever you want, but you can also just paint it. So like if you wanted to paint this like with a gray or like a gold paint or something like that, like you could do a lot of things. This one has about like 4 coats of bright tone on it. So there's no reason why I couldn't put any glitter on there and kind of do it like that. They do recommend waiting like the 24 to 48 hours before you paint it, just so it is like fully hard and fully cured before you put any paint on it. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to read through your comments. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I think it is very much worth exploring. That's why I got it. I was hoping to have more information before I did this live, but I just was excited and I haven't had too much of a chance in the past couple of weeks to play. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it and maybe we can all learn through this together. Okay, dry sand or wet sand? I think wet sand, actually. I think most people who do these trinket trays wet sand. So, but I think you could do either, but I think I would wet sand. Okay, put on glitter. Yeah, I don't see why not. You could totally put glitter on it. Maybe one of these I'll put some glitter on one of these days. And yeah, you can totally put paints on it. So you could use any of the Crystalac paints, Flippin' Awesome paints, acrylic paint. It doesn't really matter. Over the top, like if you wanted to kind of like maybe paint half of it or something like that. I bought some other molds to play with, but this is kind of all I have right now. I have some like packed away, so I need to grab those. Nancy, is this available in Canada? I am not 100% sure. I think you can get it in Canada. How much it costs to ship to Canada, I'm not sure. And if they have suppliers in Canada, they have suppliers. Like, they sell it on their website. Let me try to look. They sell it on their website. Starts making a weird noise. But they have distributors. Let's see. US and worldwide, it says. There are 3. Okay, there's an Alberta, an Ontario, and a Quebec. So, yeah. That looks cool. I mean, you could put vinyl on here. Like, you could do a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just like having any other kind of like jewelry thing, right? You could paint, you could put a niche, you could put a monogram. Yeah, so the options are there. Would a cup sweating affect the Crystalac? It won't affect the Crystalac. Just want to make sure you have like 4 to 6 coats and then let it cure up. I don't personally wait the 30 days, but this one I waited like maybe 3 days and I just let it sit in water and it was fine. So not that that's recommended, but if you're going to give it to somebody, I would wait a few days, wait like 5 days at least before you, yeah. Okay, seal the inside bottom with vinyl or pattern or clear glitter vinyl. Jamie, you could do all sorts of things. I think like this tray, like wouldn't this tray be cute with like if you did like a name here or like a wedding date, like you could do like a ring, like it could be like a ring tray. You could get like a smaller one, right? They have molds for everything. The gold flakes, it didn't work out perfectly, but this was like one of my first ones. Was a cool idea. You could totally do, yeah, like super cute coasters too. Like you could do holiday coasters, whatever, or even jewelry trays or just decorations, right? I mean, there's like a lot of possibilities. Okay, do you guys have any other questions? Let me know in the chat, or if you want to message me on Instagram or wherever to, if there are certain things you want to see, I can make it a point to set aside some time this next week to do some more experimenting. This green one is looking really good, you guys. Like, I'm obsessed with this color. It's like a mint green. And if I haven't said it in a while, the brand is Aqua Resin, using the L liquid and the S3 powder. Everything is linked in the description of this video. The molds, the crystalline inks, their inks, everything you would need. I've got a food scale, all linked if you need it. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's fun. It's fun to experiment. Oh, and the other thing, so if you look, Charity, yes, I have the molds linked. So you know how people do like man glitter? So, okay, Linda is interested in mica powders. I can do that. You know what? I maybe even do it tonight because all of my stuff is out here. You know what I mean? I might do it tonight. Okay, so if you see anybody doing like tutorials with like Jesmonite, you can pretty much do the same things. It behaves a little bit differently, but the dry, pieces, like you can kind of crackle up, and you could, these are a little too thick, but if you got it really thin, you could kind of make this into like man glitter. You know what I mean? Like, so what you could do is, I don't really have any. Here, wait, yeah, I do. So Karen asked if I've ever played with Jesmonite. I have not, because I can't get it. I can't get it here. I was going to have my friend Brienne, who lives in Germany, send me some, but it just wasn't, like, cost effective. So this was what I found in my search of Jesmonite alternatives. So if I put a little bit of liquid, I just have like a little bit left, like on a piece of parchment paper, and spread it out nice and thin and let it dry. You can use this, you can like crinkle it up and make your own man glitter. How cool is that? Or if you wanted to do like the terrazzo like chips, you could put in there to kind of make like the terrazzo ones, which I haven't done. I've been collecting chips from different colors to do that, but that's just one other way you can use it. People use Jesmonite in like candle, like people do like concrete candle holders, and I did look up the heat rating because I was like, oh, I wonder if I could, like, so I make candles, so like I was like, that could be a really cool vessel, but it makes me a little nervous, so I wasn't 100% sure about that. But the heat rating, all of this is like, they send a little packet with paperwork when they send it to you, and it has a lot of good information in it. Okay, about how much, it doesn't say. Ooh, I can't remember. I bought it kind of a while ago. I bought it right on their website. Let's look. This thing of liquid is $25 and the powder is $35, so that's a total of $60. And I mean, you can make quite a bit out of it. I haven't done the math yet. Okay, so I mean, I could figure it out. I could figure that out. How much it would cost per coaster or whatever. Since I know how much I made. Like, I'd have to do the math, but I could do the math. Okay, do you guys have any other questions? Cork board in the bottom of the coaster. Yes, you could do that. I like the peel and stick ones. Those are great from Amazon. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I will totally test out a few other things here soon. And if you guys want to see more tutorials, I would absolutely love to share them, or maybe it's something I will put on Instagram, because anytime I do anything that's not a Tumblr, I don't get as many people watching, so maybe I'll put it on Instagram. I don't know. I hope you guys had a good evening. Are you guys watching the Olympics? Let me know in the chat, because I'm obsessed with the Olympics, and as a former gymnast, I'm obsessed, obviously, with watching gymnastics, but track and field's about to start, which is my other favorite, so I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Always feel free to reach out on Instagram or Facebook. You can find me, but like I don't get a lot of messages, so Instagram is the best way to reach me, or email. And if you're not, if you got my email from my email list, so every Tuesday I send a tip. This last week on Tuesday I sent an email. So if you haven't checked it yet, you're going to want to open it, because there's a chance to win a prize. So if you haven't opened it yet, you'll want to open it. And if you are interested in any tumblers or anything, I will be releasing a few ready to ship. Not that you guys need to buy tumblers, you could just make them. But if you wanted to buy something for yourself, I'll have some available next week. I hope you have a great evening, and next week, Thursday, August, whatever, I don't know, 3rd-ish. Oh no, today's the 29th. What day is next Thursday? The 5th, August 5th, there will not be a live stream. There will be no live stream next week, and then we're going to switch from Thursday to either Monday or Tuesday moving forward after that. So I will post on my YouTube page, and I will put it on Instagram when I have that finalized. And Nora, can you add mica or glitter to it? I would not add glitter. It does not dry clear, so I wouldn't add glitter. But you could put glitter on top of it. And I haven't tested mica, but I am going to tonight, and I will share it on Instagram and maybe on the community page as well. So I hope you have a great night, and no live next week, but I will see you around. Make sure you connect with me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time.